May this video be the starting point for a journey of self-discovery and connection with the love that resides within every human being.
Namaskaram Sadhguru. Our scriptures and even our temple sculptures depict many kinds of beings like Ganas and Yakshas. Are these the same beings that are visiting Manasarovar?
The only two cultures which have documented this to some extent are the Indian culture has documented it hugely. And the Greek culture has done it to some extent. About the nature, when we say beings from another realm, these are only two cultures which are describing definite forms. So here we have Yakshas, Gandharvas, Ganas, Kinnaras, Apsaras, Kritikas, and there's so many like this. I think we have well-recognized beings from other realms, at least over 11, 12 varieties of them. The Greeks also have similar numbers of probably, if not similar, maybe a little less, but they also have recognized. I think the only place, I've never entered this place, but people tell me that the best library of this kind is in Adyar, in Chennai. The Theosophical Library is supposed to have immense collection of occult books which deal with all these aspects. More than the spiritual process, it's the occult which explores these aspects because they are always looking how to use some kind of entity which has the necessary power, intelligence and access to do things for them. They're always looking how to enslave something, to use it for their own benefit. So the occult explores these things much more than the spiritual process. But in the spiritual process, I think Gautama himself talks a lot about these things. Gautama the Buddha himself talks about a lot of different types of beings that he faced in his sadhana, which invariably one is bound to face when they move into certain aspects. Particularly when we were in another place, lots of things have happened, but particularly when we were moving towards the consecration of Dhyanalinga, these kind of things like were every day happening, all kinds. I'm not good at categorizing and naming them and saying this is this, this is that, but they're distinctly different, that's for sure, no question. Very distinctly different in their energy, in their appearance, in their everything. It was all there but didn't pay attention. But elsewhere, I have paid attention to some of these things, but it is wasteful in many ways because none of them, at least whatever I have come across, none of them would be of any spiritual significance to me. So, if I paid little attention to them, and the moment I realized that's not it, I took my attention off those things because they were never of any spiritual consequence. They were only existential consequence. If you want to explore the existence, yes. But if you want to know this, they're of no use because they're just in a different form, as ignorant as you are. Maybe with different kind of capabilities which would look incredible to you, but I'm sure your capabilities look incredible to them. Otherwise they won't be visiting, isn't it? As they look incredible to you, you must be looking incredible to them, that's why they're visiting. These days I don't have this luxury. At that time, there was no wall around the house and the morning, always by like 5:45, 6, when the sun is rising, I always came and sat in the outside corridor. And temple was still not there. I'm just building the temple in my mind. Every day I sit there and gazing in the direction where it should come up. I'm just… because I don't have the money, I don't have the material, I just don't know only what's in my mind. At that time, these creatures just hung around for quite some time. They're like irregular shapes, but all just like two-dimensional, like cardboards, walking around, moving around and making noises and just hanging around right there all the time. Sometimes I could not ignore them because they were so noisy. And it so happened sometimes that, other people in the house heard the voices and noises that I was talking to somebody. And they would come out and see that I was not talking to anybody. They cannot hear what, but they hear something. I never spoke, but they were making so many noises. You need to understand, noise means the kind of noise that we make, only we can make. When I say the kind of noise, well, the birds can make a different kind of noise, but both of us are making the same noise in terms of frequency, reasonably there. And that's why we can hear each other. There are other creatures here who are making other kinds of noises, which you cannot hear. So usually these beings are making other kinds of noises. You cannot hear, but these were making noises that… like our kind of noises, that is, somewhere in the frequency range that we communicate in. Either they were specially making these noises for me, or they also belong to the same category of noise making as we. I didn't explore all this because my time was running out, my sense was slipping, so I was putting up the bricks. I sat there and putting up the bricks because my foundation was slipping away so rapidly. So, if their sound making is of the same frequency as ours, it is also possible that their thought making could be reasonably about the same frequency as ours. Their body could be reasonably of the same kind of material, maybe not exactly, but same kind. Otherwise your eyes wouldn't so easily capture it. Well, you could see it if you're in a certain way, other things also, but not that simply like anything else that we see on a day-to-day basis. So, are these yakshas, gandharvas, ganas? I don't think so, because they don't fit into any of the descriptions that the traditions talk about. They describe gandharvas as the most beautiful human forms, yakshas as slightly of a different kind but still reasonably human form, ganas totally distorted. Distorted means unlike human forms. So most of the temples that you see are ganas. Why they're putting up ganas is because ganas have played an important role in the shaping of human consciousness, because Shiva himself is a gana. And because he is a gana, ganas hung around him. It's his people. But he put on a form. He put on a form, a human form, to be effective with human beings. But his friends remained in the same old forms. His form was powerful enough, impactful enough, they could manage their work without changing all of that. So Ghana forms are all over the place. Being human beings, we try to make it little like ourselves, slightly distorted, because we cannot imagine something which is totally unlike human. See, right now in front of the Bhairavi temple, two Ganas are sitting like this. Maybe they didn't look like that. But our human minds are such, a being means he must at least have a head. And then we can't, he just looks like a ball. We need two hands to make him look like a being. In our mindset, if somebody has to look like a being, he must have hands, legs, everything, Maybe they didn't have any of those things. Maybe what I saw was the real Ganas, that they didn't have any form like what we think of. But over a period of time, artists… How can an artist write this and say, it's a being? If I show you an irregular shape of a paper and say this is a being, you won't buy it, isn't it? At least I must cut it reasonably human sense, this is a being, little like that. You are clearly cut like this, we'll make you like this and say this is a being, you say, oh, okay. At least a head and a body and some limbs, something needed, isn't it? For human mind to perceive. So over a period of time, artists might have went on transforming the forms. The point where we made a Ganapati into a Gajapati. We made a Gana into an elephant, which is a serious big change, isn't it? Not a small change, very big change. Ganapati means the chief of the Ganas, that's what it means. So it is not just he went and slaughtered somebody's head and put it. He told the Gana, okay, I'll take your head and put it in the human body, at least you're halfway effective. Now I have made myself into a complete human form. If I put a human body for you, only the head we are not able to create, you will be quite effective and he's effective, isn't it? We accepted him because he has a human body and a Gana's head. If he sat whole Gana, we kept him outside, we didn't worship him. We kept the Ganas outside the temple, but we took Ganapati into the temple. Why? Because he looks like us. So he might have thought through all these things and done it. Maybe at least he needed one assistant who looked reasonably human. Isn't it so? Maybe they just came just like how we saw them in the Manasura war, just like that in bunches. Simply a certain kind. They knew in that form they cannot operate. So maybe they used the local earth to create themselves and they couldn't shape themselves properly. It went like this, like that. Even among human beings, everybody didn't come with the same shape, isn't it? So like that, they went in many shapes and they thought it's okay. As long as one man is looking acceptable, they thought it's okay. Maybe to go to a conference, he needed one more guy. So, he took off his head and put it on a human body to fulfill some immediate purpose, I'm saying.
Tantra means extreme discipline. It's not unbridled promiscuity. Learning to use your body and your mind like you would use some other outside instrument. This is a tremendous gift that Agastya Muni offered, that he established a tantric process 100% rooted in the body, nothing outside.
when you say Tantra, one has often heard the term tantric. And, and there's various kinds of things floating around about it. Can you just shed some light on what essentially, is there something like the dark arts or what?
Most of the existence is dark art. Light is only a small happening in this existence, isn't it? Isn't most of the existence dark? Yes. Light is a very small happening, a very limited happening. If light has to come, something has to burn. To have these lights going, something in this planet is burning right now. You must understand this. Ecologically aware people. To have all these dots of light, something is burning somewhere. We say the bulb is burning, that is also burning, but something else is burning to keep this burning, isn't it? This is the way of the light. Whether it's the light bulb or the sun, something is burning. Whatever is burning is bound to get over someday. Yes? So that's why we say, if you're burning irresponsibly, we say, you're burning the candle from both the ends. Because we understand, if light has to come, something has to burn. So if you are burning to cause light, you better control the light and keep it at the minimum, otherwise things will burn up very soon. So light is a very limited happening. The whole cosmos is a dark art. No? So, there is a lot of dark art that one can practice, not necessarily life negative. Dark arts are not necessarily life negative. When we say occult, because you have heard of some lousy occultist who is trying to destroy somebody's lives, cause disease, cause death, because of that you think that occult is always a negative thing because socially you are exposed to only that kind of people. But occult is also of the highest order. Shiva is an occultist. Every guru is an occultist, okay? Right now I initiate you to Shambhavi, it's an occult. Otherwise how would it work? Occult means a certain capability. It's a certain technology. Right now I can pull out my cell phone and speak to somebody in another part of the world. This is a technology. Suppose without the cell phone, right now if I speak to somebody in United States just like this is occult. So technology is not very different from occult. You're using different kinds of material, but it's actually the same thing. When modern technology was not there, occult was extremely relevant. But today, occult's relevance is receding as modern technology progresses. See, now you came from Mumbai, Bombay, Mumbai. I'm getting it right in your head so that you don't get into trouble. Suppose 1,000 years ago, you heard of Sadhguru in Coimbatore, but your heart is longing, you want to go. But Mumbai to Coimbatore walking and coming, not a simple journey. If you venture, you don't know whether you'll again go back to Mumbai or not. You don't know what to expect on the way, you may never make it. So, you sit in Mumbai and, oh Sadhguru, please, reach out to me, I cannot come, please. Now if I felt like doing something to Atul, who's in Mumbai and incapable of coming to Coimbatore, then maybe I want to initiate him into Shambhavi in Mumbai. But Atul's mind runs all over the place. He sits down and he feels something, then he thinks, oh, maybe I'm just imagining nonsense. His wife tells him, you going crazy, man? Somebody that you've not seen is doing something, you shut up and go back to work. He's beginning to feel something, but his logic, his reason, the family tells him, don't be stupid. Then what Sadhguru will do is, pick up a South Indian jasmine flower which cannot grow in Mumbai, and Atul is sitting like this, it fell into his hand. Now he will sit ready for Shambhavi, to be initiated, because one jasmine flower was delivered. But today, I would rather call you and say, come, or send somebody with a brochure and say, come and get it here. Or if I want to send you a jasmine flower, I'll use DHL. So modern technology is making occult obsolete, but I want you to look back 1,000 years ago, just see the immense value of occult. Yes? 1,000 years ago, just imagine you were in Mumbai and I'm still in Coimbatore, you wanted something from me. Imagine the value of occult, isn't it? So, today the value has receded, so all kinds of charlatans are doing all kinds of nonsense. Occult need not necessarily mean negative.
Now, the English word occult doesn't clearly specify what is it that they're calling as occult. Recently, someone asked me a question in the Samyama, I think. It seems some guru. He said, Tantra is just a way of getting over what? Obsessions. Just getting over obsessions. This is nonsense.
We need to, unfortunately, today, redefine the word Tantra, because it's been distorted by people. First, let's understand this. The word Tantra means a technique or a technology. But because the Tantra that you're hearing of is a rebound from the American coast, you think Tantra means unbridled promiscuity. No, Tantra means extreme discipline. It's not unbridled promiscuity, it's extreme discipline, learning to use your body and your mind like you would use some other outside instrument. Like how you would use your computer or a screwdriver. Like that, you learn to use your body and your mind. It takes enormous discipline, not promiscuity, not looseness. Tantra is not things, the books they have written largely by Western authors, all kinds of things. No, tantric texts are of extreme discipline, not of any kind of looseness. Because they're talking about the body, and right now the modern societies, if you say body, they're fixated about reproductive organs in the body and nothing else about the body. So if you say body, they're only thinking of a few body parts, they forgot the brain. Because they're only thinking of few body parts, they're thinking about sexuality and nothing beyond that. It is about learning to use the body like a phenomenal mechanism, and it is. If you do not know how to use it, what will you do here? If you do not know how to use your physical self and the energy behind it, what will you do? You will have no impact on anything. So this is Tantra.
Tantra means technology, Tantra means a certain capability. There is no guru without a Tantra. If he has no technology, he is not a guru. He can only be a gentle saint who will bless everybody, bless everybody, bless everybody. A blessing has no discretion. Now, if you were a thief, if you met a saint, you would seek his blessing and he will bless you so that you could do your job well today. Because his blessing has no discretion. He cannot be, because that's not in his control. Even the bandit tribes, the Pindaris and people like that, they had their own gods and goddesses, they had their own saints. Their gods always guided them which home to hit today. Very successful they were. They pursued their profession for centuries. Banditry is their profession. So unless you are just that gentle lily kind of saint who just blesses and blesses and blesses, I'm not trying to belittle that. They're beautiful in their own way, but they are not of any… they are not for people who are lusting for enlightenment. They're not for those people. They're only for people who are just seeking small improvements in their life. If you walk into a Home Depot, you can make some improvements to your life, isn't it? Yes or no? You can actually. I see every day on the television people come and say, "Oh, I just bought this bed, my whole life has changed, it's amazing." I didn't know I didn't know a bed or a pillow could do that, I didn't know that. Have you seen this? My whole life has changed completely. So, if you walk into the Home Depot and walk out with something that you didn't have, you could change your life a little bit. Life-changing, the word life-changing, how much of it changes subject to so many things. What has changed is subject to many things, isn't it? Suppose you're cold right now, you didn't have a jacket like me, and you got one. It's life-changing right now, isn't it? Isn't it so? So is that what we're talking about? If that is so, it is fine, blessing and blessing and blessing. But if you're talking about spiritual growth, reaching to your ultimate nature, what is a guru without a capability? You can't call him a guru. So capability means a certain ability to do things which people cannot do for themselves. So if there is… I want this to be clear in your head, if there is no tantra, when I say tantra, if there's no technology, tantra is just a Sanskrit word for technology, not the way you've been psyched to believe. So if there is no tantra, there is no guru, really.
Because guru means you have to roll up your sleeves and it's a mechanic's job. You got to fix things. To fix things you must know what's what. You must have some technology in your hand, and that is tantra. Is there tantra in Isha? Very much. All across the board, various kinds. But the significance of yoga is that it is not ritualistic. There are two dimensions of tantra. One is you use outside material and stuff to do things, which is ritualistic in nature. The yogic tantra is such that you use only your physical body and the energy system. You don't need any other material. So these two loosely have been classified as right-hand path and left-hand path. Left-hand path use outside material, right-hand path does not use any material, just uses the body itself. Largely, this is yogic tantra. Largely just what we do within ourselves. This is a tremendous gift that Agastya Muni offered, that he established a tantric process 100% rooted in the body, nothing outside. Not one grain of rice or sand is being used to perform all the different dimensions of tantra, everything internalized within the system. This is his gift to us. This is one of the greatest things. In terms of human mechanism, this is one of the greatest things that's been ever offered to us from any source. This is his offering.
We hope this video has been a source of inspiration for you. Be sure to check out our other content and share your wisdom with the world.